And we're live. Hey everyone, how you doing? The first day of Hacktoberfest. I'm super excited and we have not one, not two, but three amazing guests with us today. So let's go clockwise. So first of all, we have Carl. Carl, amazing that you're joining us today. Thank you so much. For those of you who don't know who Carl is, Carl has written most of our API for the EddieHub project, a lot of EddieBot as well with the whole Nest.js, and I'm always learning from Carl about these awesome things. So Carl, please give yourself an intro and you'll do a much better job than me.
I'm sure I'm not. Hey, I'm Julian. I'm a 22-year-old software engineer from Germany. As Eddie said, I'm quite involved in the EddieHub project.
Awesome. Okay, so next up, going clockwise, we have Nick. Nick also probably doesn't need an intro. Nick is from Free Code Camp, runs BeckerBot in the EddieHub community and many other communities. Nick does so many awesome things around everything, but when I think Discord bot, I always think Nick. But Nick, please give yourself an intro.
I don't know what to say that can top what you just said. Yes, I'm Nick, commonly known as NH Kerrigan. I work for Free Code Camp. I'm community manager for StreamCode, bot developer for Eccentric Collective, and I volunteer in quite a few communities and help out. If you're joining from the Hacktoberfest server, you might know me as having the very bright red name and the very heavy banhammer. Other than that, I think that's it.
Awesome. And also Kunal, last but not least, doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway because all of you know Kunal are. Thank you all so much for joining from Kunal's community. Kunal runs a community classroom, an amazing YouTube channel with over, I think, 75,000 subscribers. Last time I checked, it's probably double that in the last 2 days.
79.
Wow, so that's amazing, and I just think it's great. You're putting out so much content, you're working at so many places. We'll have to do another video on that another time and dig really deep into that. But that's amazing. Please give yourself an intro because I, again, won't do you justice.
I believe you did a really good job, so thank you for that. But yeah, I'm Kunal. I'm a student. I'm graduating next year and I do community work. I'm mostly involved in CNCF stuff. But yeah, I have my own channel where I mostly post just podcasts and tutorials. So yeah, definitely, great thing that you're joining such live streams, and hopefully today we can talk about open source and some best practices.
Awesome. Yes, it's Hacktoberfest, it's open source. We're all super excited. All of you, if you can give the video a thumbs up, it really helps support the channel. I promise you it won't cost you anything, but it really helps support, so appreciate it. Wow, yes, first day, and I see so many pull requests and collaborations going on. So I'd love to get into some questions from the chat, but before we do that, what does Hacktoberfest and open source mean to all of you on the panel? And while you're doing that, I'm going to bring up your pages on the side and drop your links in the chat as well. And if you miss it, everyone, their links are in the description below as well. And if you need anything else, let us know. So what does open source and Hacktoberfest mean to all of you? And I know lots of people have amazing questions as well.
I think I answered this on a Twitter space yesterday. Open source to me is very much the community. You can slap your code on GitHub and put an MIT license on it and say you're open source, and yes, you have an open source project. But really, it's about the community and the collaboration. The opportunities to work with other developers to build really cool, fun things, the opportunity to network with other developers. As Eddie always likes to say, it's the collaboration first and the code second.
Yes!
I get paid $5 every time I say that.
Okay, don't say it too many times then. And I love that. We did have a Twitter space yesterday, and I think it's great. Whenever we get questioned, I always find I improve my answers all the time. And, I know Carl and Kunal are also massively involved in open source, and we're going to go into tips and best practices and answering people's questions. But we'll start off quite high level, and then we'll dig deeper. I do have some swag to give away, so we'll get into that shortly. Kunal and Carl, what are your thoughts on kind of Hacktoberfest and open source?
Yeah, like you mentioned, many times, open source is for everyone. So I think that's definitely what my approach has been as well, since I've been contributing to open source since my freshman year. So I think anyone can contribute to open source. Kubernetes being the second largest project in the world, but still I see many beginners contributing. People who don't even know coding, they can contribute. So when you say open source is for everyone, it does mean everyone. It means like people who do not know coding, they can contribute as well. People who do know coding, they can contribute it as well. It doesn't mean that non-code contributions are not valuable. I mean, definitely you can learn a lot via non-code contributions as well. Hacktoberfest is great. Anything basically that promotes open source is great. I think it's how people take the advantage of that situation. That's what really matters. So if such great opportunity has been provided to you, make sure you make use of it in a nice way and follow the code of conduct and stuff. This goes for every single open source program out there, not just Hacktoberfest. But I think, yeah, open source is for like, everyone, and Hacktoberfest and stuff. These things really promote the culture and everything. But definitely you can contribute like before Hacktoberfest, after Hacktoberfest, or during Hacktoberfest.
Definitely contribute after Hacktoberfest as well. I think it's really, really important. Hacktoberfest is not just for, sorry, open source is not just for October.
And thanks for the shout out of the website. Yeah, that's my.
Let me drop some of these in the chat while we're listening to Carl. Carl, anything you'd like to add to that as well?
Well, I just wanted to say I think there's nothing much more to add. I think open source in general is just an amazing thing, as Nick said, to get in touch with people around the world, build software together, collaborate, do some networking, and even if you want to accelerate your career, for example, I think open source is also a great way to get notified by or noticed by some companies like the big players. But as Kunal said, it's not just not just contributing in October. It's you should definitely keep going after this month.
Exactly, and I think we've all highlighted that it's not just about code, and I think that's the really, really important part. Is it's you can do documentation, automated tests, and how can people get started? I mean, I'm sure we've got loads of questions. I'm still kind of trying to go through the chat as well. But what are everyone's tips on how people can get started?
Find something that you use. That was my breakthrough into open source. When I started my development journey, I was learning how to code through Free Code Camp. Free Code Camp is open source. My first ever PR was a typo fix for one of the challenges. I also remember sitting there for 30 minutes waiting for all of the tests to pass, on the edge of my seat, hoping that I didn't break anything because it was my first PR and I was terrified. And now I work there. So, find something. The best thing to do is find something that you're already using and contribute to that, because you come in with a familiarity of the project that you don't have if you find some random repository on GitHub.
That is true, and I think most projects want contributions, but it's always good to double check that they do want it. Have a look at the closed pull requests and see if they are kind of keen on getting collaborators and helping people. I mean, Kunal, you've and Carl and Nick as well, but all of you have contributed to some big projects. And Nick, you contributed to Free Code Camp before you started working there. Kunal, I remember you tweeting you contributed a lot to Kubernetes or something like that. You did a lot of contributions on some big projects.
My first contribution was in Kubernetes Java client. It was like my major contribution, like literally adding new features and doing some, like adding some like big file changes. But like everyone else mentioned, I also started by removing some typos and stuff. So my first open source contribution was actually no contribution at all. It was just deleting a file. So it was like literally nothing. I added nothing. I just deleted a file and that was it. But then I started, adding some examples and then some test cases, and then I moved on with adding literally like new features like persistent volumes and resource quotas and all these things like Kubernetes objects. I was adding support like in the client. So that's when I realized that open source, you can learn on the go, because I only knew Java back then, and I learned all about all these things like on the go. I contributed to that project. So I added like I closed like 30 PRs or something, and I still don't know how the entire project works. It's very big. How can I know how the
Yeah.
entire project works? You check out Red Hat open source projects. It's like so big. So even with Kubernetes, or I'm not sure if there's any single person in the world who is familiar with the entire CNCF landscape. It's so big. So this is a question people often ask, like, do you need to understand the entire code base in order to contribute? No, 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 you don't. But have an open mind to learn and contribute. So learn while contributing is what I followed, and it worked for me very well. I then contributed to Quarkus, then which is also a very nice project. I was mentoring there. Then Facebook open source, the Jest project. So yeah, I mean it has been fun, and now in Kubernetes non-code contributions. So I think you can definitely learn on the go. That is one advice I'd like to share. But yeah, I mean, and now even where I work right now, like at Civo as a developer advocate. So, uh, over there also the open source culture is, I mean, not just for Civo, but most of the cloud native companies you see that they're heavily involved in the CNCF ecosystem. So we have like the marketplace, which is open source. So we work with that. And I think like open source is everywhere, not just for communities, but also companies is what I'm trying to say with this example.
And we're going to get into that because that's really, really important. And I'd like to just cover one more topic. So, Carl, you contribute to Gitpod. You were saying they've done a big release, open source release last week, and I think that's great. I think people can, contribute to small projects. They can contribute to big projects. So, Carl, how did you contribute to Gitpod? Because that's quite a big project.
I started by contributing to the org, to the GitHub organization, not to the main product at first. It was just I don't want to say a non-relevant repo in their org. But yeah, it helped me to get started on understand how the workflows of them are, which are the maintainers I can speak with. I can ping if I have any questions. Yeah, and then I think it's again something Kunal already mentioned. When contributing to their main product, I contributed to their React front end without understanding what their Go backend, or for example anything else, really does. So you sometimes don't need to understand the whole project or the whole product to get your contributions done.
Yeah, that's true. I think some people try and understand everything and they really don't need to. So before we continue, we're going to probably start what is Hacktoberfest, and we'll get into the questions. I'm just going to share my screen and, not remove my screen, share my screen and say I will be doing a GitHub t-shirt giveaway. I'll be doing one every week. So if you want to learn more, there are some instructions on this webpage. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, we'll do that towards the end. So looking forward to doing that. Super excited. I've got quite a few tickets to give away. And I'm wearing my Hacktoberfest t-shirt as well. So I think Nick wore his last time. So I thought, right, I'm going to wear mine this time. Kunal, what are you wearing? What t-shirt have you got on? It must be something geeky. Come on.
It's something with, I don't know. I forgot
the name. Is that a new language you're writing? This is the new language.
I got it from KubeCon. What does it say? Something with Kubernetes.
Something secrets at the end. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. With secrets. Yeah.
So. What is Hacktoberfest? So everyone's here, they want to learn, and again, all of you, I really appreciate you being here, and I appreciate the people up on stage or up on the live stream with me. So don't forget, go give them a follow, go give them some support on socials. Their links are in the description below. And of course, give this video a thumbs up. So, Hacktoberfest. Who wants to give an overview of what Hacktoberfest is, and then someone else can say the benefits of Hacktoberfest and maybe the benefits of open source, then I promise everyone we will get into questions. So who wants to go first? What is Hacktoberfest?
Okay, I'll go. Hacktoberfest is a month-long event sponsored by DigitalOcean, which is intended to facilitate and encourage open source contributions. During the month of October, repositories can opt in to participate in Hacktoberfest by adding the Hacktoberfest topic to the repository. And then as a participant, you can head over to hacktoberfest.digitalocean.com. You can register with GitHub or GitLab, which is new this year. We didn't have GitLab support last year. And once you register, you can begin making your pull requests. In order to qualify for the swag pack, you must make 4 pull requests to participating repositories, or have pull requests that are labeled with the Hacktoberfest accepted label if the repository has not opted in. These pull requests should be quality, in-depth, and well thought out contributions. Spam pull requests can be marked with an invalid or spam label. You get 2 of those and you can be disqualified from Hacktoberfest entirely. So make good quality contributions. Remember that the point of this event is to facilitate and encourage open source contribution. The point of this event is not to get AT. You cannot win Hacktoberfest. You win by contributing to open source.
Exactly, that ties lovely into the next question, which Krishna has asked. I know other people have asked questions further up. The chat is moving so fast, so please rewrite your questions or copy and paste your questions into the chat again, and we will get to it. So who wants to take the next question? Why open source? Like, what is the benefit of open source? Why should people care? Why should they go watch Netflix?
Do you mean like using the project or contributing? Because both of those have benefits. Like.
True. Okay, we'll do both. We'll do a light touch on both, and then we can dig deeper onto contributing. I think that we focus on that.
I know many people who prefer open source projects rather than proprietary software. I think get the short answer is I think the community part, right? So if you need a feature request or something, you can do that, and I think you also get the quality and like reliability, the security and stability. One more important point is adaptability and customization of your project. So I think it's it all ties in with like the community support that you get that you may not be getting. Like for example, if you need a new feature in Windows, right? So that's up to Microsoft. So it's like nothing wrong about that, but it's like a personal preference. But in order to like, I'd love to hear others' points as well. But for contributions, it goes on and on. You get like you get to test your skills. You get real-world software development experience from the comfort of your home. You get to meet people from around the world. You get to attend global events. You get to showcase your work. You get to improve your resume. And I think someone else mentioned it as well. Like you get opportunities. So my current role, like at Civo, I got it via my open source and community like bonding and stuff. So they were like, hey, you do great work in Kates and stuff, and not just Civo, but like other opportunities have gotten. I owe it to open source. So if you're looking for, and there's nothing wrong with it. If you're getting a role with open source, it's great. Go for it.
And there's so many benefits to open source. Just to kind of summarize what's been said already, you're going to learn your technical skills. You're going to learn your communication skills. You're going to grow your network. You're going to meet so many more people around the world. We get to geek out and meet all of you. I know we're on YouTube, not GitHub, but I'm sure most of us are going to have already been on GitHub before the live stream. And if not, we're going to head over to GitHub afterwards and we're going to collaborate and chat in, Nick's Discord, Kunal's Discord, my Discord. Carl hasn't got one yet, but we'll work on that. So, I'm sure there will be loads of places where we can all geek out and learn from each other. And then, by helping other people, we learn different skills. That's what I love. So someone asked a question about being a maintainer, and I think that's a really interesting question because we always come at it from the contributor. So I think there's just so many more skills that can be learned as a maintainer. And then I believe I'm going to touch on this very small, and I'll get some other people on the panel to answer because you all hear from me all the time. So the benefits of being a maintainer is it would improve your contributions because you get to see it from the flip side. So as a maintainer, I think all three of us are maintainers. All four of us are maintainers. So what advice would you have to people who want to maybe start their own project and get contributions, and what are the benefits of being a maintainer?
The one advice that I have to have, and I'm stealing this from Eddie, is make it open source from the very beginning. Even if your first commit is just a README, make it open source from the very beginning. That's what's going to, that makes it available. People can see the development process. People can see, your code. You have version control in case something breaks. And then you're also learning in public. And that gives you the opportunity to help somebody else by showing your learning, but it also gives you the opportunity to receive feedback on your learning process from step one.
I've just seen a question. I've seen loads of questions. Those are amazing questions. We are going to get to them. But amazing question from Diraj, hopefully I pronounced it right, how to get remote jobs. We will do this in another stream, but I promise you, and I have some examples to do in another stream in a week or two, that open source can help you get remote jobs. And we have some amazing news for some of the EdiHub members to announce, but we can't announce just yet. But we have some amazing news to announce that they contribute to some open source project and got offered jobs. So yes, just get involved open source now, and trust me, the benefits will come later. My biggest regret when I started open source 10 years ago, or 11 years ago, 12 years ago, I'm really old, was that I didn't start sooner. So don't make the mistake that I made. Okay, so we had some other questions. What have you all seen in the chat? I've probably missed loads of stuff, but it's great. I should give some shout outs to some people. I recognize some names, which is amazing, the usual suspects. And then we also have loads of people come over from, Nick's, Kunal's and Carl's community, and that's amazing. Really, really appreciate it. Seeing Rohan answering lots of questions, asking questions, Shreyan's, and Kunal's already in the chat as well, which is awesome. And same with Nick and Carl in the chat too. Himanshu, Luke, awesome. Yes, another person from the UK. So let's have a look. And Eleanor, long time no see. Hope you're doing well. And I know you're in the UK now as well, so I hope everything's good. You're enjoying the rain we've been having. But yeah, it's super awesome. So what other tips would you have? So how can people find projects? I know we've covered this already, but the questions come up a few more times. Like if we can all give 1 or 2 tips on how people can find projects to contribute to. What are you thinking?
Yeah, get involved in communities, and like the Twitter communities are very nice. There you can find projects. If you are looking for like resources, I think on Hacktoberfest website you can find some projects. You can check out github.com. There's the trending repositories over there. You can find projects. You can filter out on the basis of your needs. You're looking for CNCF projects, then just Google CNCF projects. You'll find all the DevOps related projects. You're looking for projects in specific domains. You can go to the Summer of Code with Google.com website. Over there you can find previous organizations that take part, and there you can find a lot of amazing projects to contribute to as well, according to your interests.
Awesome. And I'm going to let the others jump in a moment to answer this. Yes, we're hoping to do maybe some contributions today in some of our projects. I'd love to pick a project from each of the people on the panel, or maybe projects from the audience. We'll see how we do with time. We've got so many great questions that we'll see how it goes. But yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully we will. So great suggestions, Kunal. Thank you so much for that. And it's great to get different people's perspectives. I think it's really interesting. I also saw we had Anesh, I'm going to pronounce your name wrong, from Germany in the chat, who said, my office is a mess. I know, I'm sorry, digital nomad life. That's the problem. I've just arrived back from Portugal and already packing up to try and head to Bali in a few weeks. So that's why it's a complete mess. The lounge is my recording studio, so complete mess. One of the downsides. So Nick and Carl, what are your thoughts? How can people find good issues, not necessarily easy issues, but to get started? I know we've covered this, but if you could maybe summarize 1 or 2 tips, each of you, that'd be awesome. Nick, you're muted.
Forgot I muted myself. GitHub.com/topics/Hacktoberfest will list all of the repositories that have added the Hacktoberfest label and are actively participating in the event. Alternatively, GitHub has a very, very powerful advanced search feature. You can search for issues by the Good First Issue label or the Help Wanted label and filter it based on the primary language of the repository. So I can search for good first issues in projects that use TypeScript, for example. For GitLab, I have very little advice because I never use GitLab, but my understanding is they have a topics view as well. So you can see the projects over on GitLab that are participating. You can search by issue labels there. That's pretty much what I have.
Awesome. And Carl, what are your thoughts? Oh, sorry, go on, Kunal.
No, I was just saying, many times people don't find beginner-friendly issues on GitHub. So they're like, I try to search, but sometimes there are no issues with that label. I think in that case, just reach out to the community. So if you haven't already, just join the public channel of the project you're contributing to. And then over there, you can ask like, hey, I'm looking for some beginner-friendly issues to contribute to, but I can't find anything. Can you assign me something?
Exactly. And I think, doing the adding value sooner kind of builds up that trust. So therefore people can pick harder issues and then get a bit more support and help on it, and they can, learn more from that way. So yeah, really good to chat with him. And Carl, I think is in the GitPod Discord. Did you chat with him about your, open source contributions before or after? Did that help at all?
I did most of the communications in the pull requests or issues, not on the Discord specifically. But yeah, my recommendation would also be joining a open source community like EddieHub, for example, because I think the repositories in these organizations aren't. I don't know if it's right to say that hard to contribute, but for React or Kubernetes, for example, are having quite a long contributing guidelines. And I think when you really want to get started with it, get into the flow on opening an issue, then doing a pull request and communicating with others, I think it's easier doing this in this wildcard environment like an open source community.
Yes, and I think that brings us on to our next question asked by Neon, how to stay away from conflicts. I think, picking the bigger projects like,
You can't.
it's hard. Like so much is changing, right?
Yeah, you can't. I think like you will run into it eventually someday, but just resolve most conflicts. What else can we say?
I think some tips
I think like
go on.
no,
Go
no,
on.
no. I was just saying like it does happen sometimes. Like you're
Yes.
working on something and then the main repo gets updated. So I think go ahead, Eddie. I think that's.
I was
what
going to
you should
say
definitely
that you're absolutely right. It's going to happen. I think that's a good thing to point out. People shouldn't be scared if it happens. It's going to happen, and after you've done it a few times, you are going to get used to it. So that's a really good point, and I wasn't going to mention that, so I'm glad you did. I would say projects that move faster, like React and so forth, you probably will get more conflicts because by the time your pull request has been reviewed and by the time you get around to it because of time zones and work and school and what have you, so many other pull requests have gone in. So I think that does slightly increase the chances. So maybe pick a slower paced project. And also 2 tips I would give: make sure your PR, your changes, do one thing and do one thing well. Don't try and format this file over here, add a feature over here, fix a bug over there, because your PR is going to get blocked because of conversations on something else, but one of your 2 of your improvements could have gone in. So definitely keep them focused. And I forget the other one.
Maybe I can go on.
Yes, please.
My advice would be never commit on the main branch of your fork. I think this
That's the one. That's the one.
Keeps you safe from conflicts even when pulling the upstream.
Yes, so always do everything in a branch, even in your fork, because your first contribution might work fine, but your second and ones afterwards will probably all have conflicts. You'll be conflicting with yourself a lot of the time. So yes, great tip. Definitely do everything in a branch and have a new branch every time you raise a pull request. Can merge conflicts break something like Kubernetes or React? No, you can't break anything. Just if you're in doubt, try it. I mean, you might create a bit of spam for some of the maintainers, so try and keep that to a minimum. But if in doubt, definitely try it.
I'm gonna counter that point.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I like that.
You can break things, and you will break things, and things will explode, and you will have bugs that land on production, and you will have, you will have databases crash, and you will have servers go down, and you will have all sorts of, you'll have CI fail, and all of that is okay. Nothing about that makes you less of a developer. Those are all common experiences. We've all experienced them. We've all gone through production crashing on a Friday night, and you have to reschedule your dinner plans. It happens, and that is 100% okay, because when it breaks, we can fix it. We can make it better. You learn from when it breaks. So don't be afraid to try things, and don't be afraid to break things.
That's so true. So Dax, great suggestion. So we suggested how to search for issues. Nick, would you mind sharing your screen and actually showing that? You're right, we should try and demo some of this. And I don't know if Carl or Kunal, you have some things to demo as well. I think visually it'd be so much better than just chatting about it only. So if we've maybe covered some things, we can go over it again quickly, but with a demo or anything like that.
I can do the finding the project part.
Okay, Nick is sharing his screen already. But between us, we can show different things. So keep questions coming. I'm trying to catch up, so my apologies. Getting started is the hardest. That's why you almost just get started today. Definitely do it. Things definitely break. Hey, Stephen, how you doing?
GitHub.com/topics/Hacktoberfest. GitHub has been slow for me today, and there it is. You know you're on the right topic because you'll see our beautiful logo here. If you go to Hacktoberfest 2021, which is not the correct topic, you will not see our beautiful logo. You can sort by language, so I can filter by TypeScript, and I can go by, hey, look, Grafana. Grafana is really cool if you haven't played with it. Definitely typed, so you can see all of these projects that are opted into Hacktoberfest. You can see quick links to view their code, see their issues, and all of it from that one topic page.
That's awesome. And people can search for labels, right, as well, and
Not on the topic page, no.
okay, but on the issues page at the top.
Yeah,
I don't know,
here I can show that too. Or Kunal can. I know Kunal.
I think Kunal was going to do that. Don't steal his ones.
I'm not stealing. I'm forking.
I'm forking. Nice.
Let me share my screen. Yeah, 1 second. Can you see it?
Yes, let's bring it up onto the stream. Awesome.
Yeah,
Got
in
it.
order to find projects, just go to the Explore tab. There you can find projects according to your interest. So you can see topics. You can select JavaScript or Android, whatever. So if you select Android, you can find projects related to Android. And these are some of the very popular projects, like Flutter is here. Literally the Flutter repo. So the second one that I was mentioning was Summer of Code with Google.com. This one, even if you don't want to do Google Summer of Code, this is a great way to find organizations. This is what I mean. So you can select via categories like cloud and stuff and graphics and security and web. But the cool thing is that you can literally just type, let's say, machine learning or something. Oops. Now these are all the organizations that have machine learning projects. You can see MLPack, TensorFlow, some of the popular ones. Click on Learn More and See Projects. Click on View Idea List. A view idea list is basically
nice.
this basically means all the projects that are currently looking for like contributors and stuff, and specifically for students. So this is pretty cool stuff. So there you can just see what are the tasks, what are the requirements, languages, and all these other things. And you can find the GitHub repo and stuff over here as well, and the skills required and all these other things. So yeah, I mean that way you can find like so many projects. Just organizations tab, like you want to find, let's say, JavaScript. Tons of organizations that use JavaScript.
There is a question which is related to this, which I think is really good. Is Google Summer of Code too complex to get started? Like, do you look at these projects?
No, it's easy. It's easy. I did it in my freshman year, and I only knew Java, so it's
okay.
Not
So
difficult.
I think it's
just
good.
like
I think
you
people
have to have an open mind to learn and contribute. Yeah, the thing.
I think
Google
people
Summer
get
of Code
scared by
is-
some of the names. That's why.
Yeah. The thing is that obviously it makes more sense that in a particular project, when there are more and more students applying, then obviously there's going to be a lot more competition, right? You have a particular project, the organization only has, let's say, 2 slots, and you have 200 people contributing who want to be Google Summer Code students. Obviously now there's competition, but open source is not about competition, it's about collaboration. So even if you're helping someone in public, that also looks good on your side. But in the end, don't have the motivation for GSOC. Just there are so many open source programs. I can do a plug over here, Eddie, if you don't mind.
Yeah, do it. Go ahead.
1 second.
Do it. Is it? I can guess what it's going to be. It's going to be Summer of Code of Kunal. No.
No. It's like I made this. I made this video. 25 open source programs and internships you can apply to.
Drop
So
the link in the chat. Let me add you as a mod, and then you can.
GSOC is not the end of the world. Like they're like literally 25 plus. Like there's MLH fellowship, there's LFX mentorship programs, which is also available for people who are working professionals, by the way. So you get to work on cloud native projects.
That's
There's
awesome.
outreachy and stuff. This is the one.
That's awesome. YouTube will probably block it. Just say hi in the chat. I'll make you a mod, and then you can reshare the link.
Done.
Okay, I'm just waiting for it to come through. I mean, it's great. There's so many amazing programs. I know Kunal and Nick and Carl will start their own programs soon as well. Okay, you're a mod now, Kunal. You should better paste the link in. Yes, everyone, don't forget, go check out these amazing panelists. That just sounds so formal. Like these people get amazing guests joining me on the live stream. Their links are in the description below. They have got so many amazing Twitter accounts, GitHub accounts. Like go look at what open source projects they work on. That's another way you can get involved in open source. You can go see what other people are doing. I mean, most people, actually the four of us here have so many green squares that we actually give away green squares. In the GitHub Discord, we actually have a channel that is good first issue where people have got so many green squares, they're kind of, sharing the issues there as well. Kunal, do you have anything similar that you want to say about your Discord? Your Discord is so busy, I can't check everything, keep up with it.
We are making our own projects. So the website is open source, and I know what Nick said, keep it open source from the beginning. So that's what we are doing as well. The application that is open sourced. We have our own the beginner friendly, when you're trying to learn about Git and GitHub, you tend to make some spams. So we have a separate repository for that. But
Nice.
the main stuff is the website and the app. But in the future, I plan on having more projects, and people are really enjoying, and you can definitely contribute to. We'll have some Hacktoberfest related issues, and to be quite frank, it's easy. It's easy to get started. So the projects are not that complex. It's just very simple stuff. So if you're a beginner, you can contribute.
Awesome. I'm just going to share my screen again, just seeing some of the comments coming up. So if I share my screen, so this is our EdiHub organization. You're welcome all to join the organization as well. Join another 1.3k of people, and we have different projects. So as Kunal mentioned, for his community, we also have a Hacktoberfest practice. This does not count towards your Hacktoberfest contributions, but if you want to practice the flow, you just add your name to it. That is basically it. And if I scroll down, it gives you instructions on how to do it, what you need to do. Do it by the command lines. You can learn. If you have any questions, you can ask in any of our Discords and we'll gladly help. And then you can add your name to this with a link. So it's a bit of promotion for you, but it just practices that workflow. And if you want to get a bit fancier, you can go to our new project, Linkfree, which is like Linktree, but open source. And I can give you a quick demo of it as well, really quickly. It's like this. You can find someone, or you can share your exact URL. So if I pick mine, because I know mine has the extra features at the bottom. So again, you get a custom URL, and then you can share it with people. You put your links that you want in, and now we've actually added the polywork kind of timeline, so you can add things to that as well. So to add to that, all you need to do is in public and data, add a file for you. So if I just find mine again so it can match up with what we were just seeing online, you can add this, and the requirements is the first block, and if you want you can add milestones now or later. And Carl has got time next week or the week after to help me move this to our API project, and so via our Discord bot we can save this data rather than doing it in JSON. But any questions, do ask. And I guess I have a question for everyone on panel. Is how can people once they've found an issue, once they know what they're doing, once they've got it assigned to them, and they're working on it. I love it that people are saying in the chat, I've created my PR on Linkfree, done it. Okay, we'll get to it. We are working on it. I have got my notifications from 8,167 down to 7,200. So I'm working through my notifications slowly, and the amazing community is helping me. Got some amazing maintainers. But how can people make PRs what's a good PR that stands out? What tips would you give people when they found it? So we kind of worked through the timeline when we found it. And if you've got any PRs that either opened or closed, but you thought, oh, that stood out, that looked really good, then feel free to share your screen and bring it up.
One thing I'd like to share is try to keep the PRs, if the PR is very big, the number of changes, then try to break down the changes into individual PRs, because it will help the maintainers review those very fast. So if you make 10,000 changes in one PR, try to see if you can break it down.
Yes, definitely. Each PR just needs to add value, and that's it. It's not the bigger the better, just needs to add value.
I really, when reviewing pull requests, I really enjoy especially when they are in draft, if the contributor uses the checkboxes. So you can see which tasks are open, what is already done, where is maybe support needed. Yeah, that's a personal preference from me, adding these checkboxes.
Yeah, I think it's really good advice. Check boxes in the pull request, and also you can create a draft pull request. If you need help from someone, everyone watching, this is really important, and it's like a really hot tip. If you need help and you say, hey, I'm stuck, I've broken it, I got an error, something doesn't work, people can't help because they can't see it. Commit and push it to a branch in your fork, raise the pull request, but raise it in draft mode so the maintainers know it's not ready for review. But then you can share the link and say, hey, this is what I got so far. This is the error that I've got. Please include the error, not just like half the error. And then people can look at your code and actually just help you a lot easier. It saves you time, it saves them time, so it's kind of win-win. Oh, am I ignoring Mikey? Mikey, I'm sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I'm missing so much in the chat. Awesome to have you here, Mikey. Apologies. What did I miss? Please write it again in the chat. I'm doing terrible. Like someone suggested, I probably should have put slow mode on. That's what I was trying to say. I don't know how Kunal does it on his massive streams with like. I think you had a stream.
I fail every time. I can't take questions live stream. I have to do a slow mode of 5 minutes in order to contain it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's. I can't enable slow mode once it's started, is my understanding. I think so. I'll have to look for the next one.
You can do it.
Oh, really?
Just go to YouTube.
I'm not going to break the live stream. This is like going so well. There's so many amazing people here. I don't want to kick them off.
I do it all the time.
I don't trust myself. I'll click on delete. So I don't worry. It's fine.
Close the screen air tab.
It's fine. You know, I don't think anyone's really spamming, and I think it's just a lot of energy from the audience, and I love that. And while you're all there writing lots of great things in the chat and answering each other's questions and answering questions, please give the video a thumbs up, help support the channel. And also, do me one last thing, go follow Kunal, Nick and Carl on Twitter and GitHub and LinkedIn and all those cool places. See what amazing things they're up to. And do check out the people we've got in the audience as well. Actually, I should have started a GitHub discussion where people could put in their links. We've got so many amazing people here. Let's do like Nick's already on Nick's machine. Ashwin, it won't break. It's not the spaces. Yeah, that is like fragile. Don't do it now, Butterfingers, exactly. Yes, the stream should be available afterwards as well. Okay, cool. So Nick's creating it. Nick will share a link in the chat and give yourselves a shout out. You know, so if people want to work on hackathons together, we've got MLH's hackathon coming up. Then people can work together.
Yep.
Which one is it? Sorry, Local Hack Day. That's the one. Yeah, my T-shirt. Yes. Local. There's so many things going on. It's going to be an amazing month, which I think is awesome. And if people want to learn more about open source, we have gone over a lot of the basics. I do want to kind of get into some concrete examples now. If you have just joined and you've missed it, then you can watch the live stream later or join our communities. Don't join one of them, join all of them, because you can get different things from different communities and you can be involved in multiple communities. So Nick's involved in so many, so is Kunal, and me too, and Carl as well. So yes, do get involved in lots of stuff. So did Nick share the link? Okay, let me bring it up on the screen as well. We can have a look, and hopefully people start adding. I can't copy from what's it called? From StreamYard. Okay, I can click on this. Hopefully it works. Here we go. Right, so what questions did you miss? Did any of you notice any questions? So Nick has started this. Do introduce yourself below, just like 1 or 2 lines about yourself, and include your links, and then reply to each other's threads. So start a new thread for yours and then comment on each other's threads. I think that's really collaborative.
I think we spoke about good pull requests, and I recently saw a video. I think it was with you, Eddie, where I think you mentioned a quite important point. when creating also an issue, not just pull requests in the description, you always add a descriptive description. You had the example with don't write as discussed before, let's do it like this. I think
Yes.
it's also important to add a short description so others can see what was discussed and
Absolutely,
mention some different
especially
possibilities.
that's such a good point, especially if you're chatting in Discord and then you go create an issue. Don't say gone to create then you go create an issue and then you say, as discussed in Discord, I'm going to do option B. Well, if you're anything like me and have terrible memory and have 100 conversations a day, I won't remember what option A and C were. And also, if people weren't there, right? Open source is about collaboration, communication, and being inclusive, and you want to include everyone in the community. So yes, thank you so much for reminding me about that.
I wanna also share that learning in public is great. So you can share about attending this session and what you learned on Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever. Eddie, can you remove the screen for just a second?
Oh yes, sure.
So you can take a screenshot or whatever and share it and tag us.
Yes. Carl, can we tempt you to put your camera on or no? Are you remaining incognito?
It's probably my face revealed then.
It's entirely up to you. I think it's time.
I think it's time.
Everyone, write Carl in the chat, and let's encourage Carl to turn on their camera, and we can all do a pose. You know what my pose is going to be, but I should have Mona somewhere, always over there. Okay, yes, we know what Carl looks like. Whew, I have no sound effects. Carl is real. Carl is not a bot.
No, I'm not.
Okay, ready?
Yep,
Pose
you
for
can-
the screenshot. Okay, I think we got it. Cool. Thank you so much, Kunal, for that. I really appreciate it. And I actually have a banner for it. Tag us all on socials. If you tag us, I promise you we will like it. I cannot promise you we will reshare it. But if you want us to reshare it so you can get exposure to our network, add something you've learned, add some tips, add value to that tweet. I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I did see a great question actually. And where was it? The chat's gone so fast, but I did see a great question. I love it.
The trick is keeping up with it all.
Yes. So I have missed loads of stuff, but one question was really, really good, and I have so lost it. I don't know. I've lost it. It's fine. Okay. Well, so hopefully they'll write it again. So great to see people are chatting in the discussion. So really, really awesome. We've already got 22 participants. Amazing work. I was thinking of something else. There was one suggestion that someone said. Oh yeah, YAML. Here we go. Summit asked this. Let me remove my screen, otherwise it goes over Kunal's face, which is a little bit annoying. So apologies for that, Kunal. Does YAML add value to a project? And I think people shouldn't think of it as, is it docs? Is it code? Is it YAML? Is it config? The value doesn't matter on the amount of lines, right? If I don't know if people on the panel agree with me, but if you added 5 lines of YAML to do a GitHub action that adds value to the project, that's just YAML. It's just config. But it sounds pretty awesome to me. It's pretty helpful and useful.
Just did that yesterday. I think it was like 10 lines, but still, contributions are valid regardless of of the number of lines or of what file it touches. The focus here is you want your contribution to improve this project, and you don't want it to be a pull request you made that removes an extra line because you really, really, really want that t-shirt, because again, that's not what Hacktoberfest is about. That's not what open source is about.
Yeah, exactly. I second that point. Like, don't just do it for like the t-shirt or whatever. It's only promoting open source, and that is it. It's not like if you don't do Hacktoberfest, then you'll miss out on the biggest opportunity of your life or anything. No, it comes every year. It's promoting open source, but it's not like you definitely like that's the end of it. No, just don't do it for like your t-shirt or your certificate or whatever it might be. Just do it for open source. Yeah.
Exactly, and you can do it between Hacktoberfest, so still continue after Hacktoberfest, but if you really want to get involved in the Hacktoberfest buzz and t-shirts or plant a tree, I really want you all to plant a tree instead, then yes, it comes around every year like Kunal said. You don't have to complete it all in one day. I see people saying, hey, it's not even lunchtime when I've completed all 4 pull requests. It's like, well, great, but maybe you could have pick some more involved pull requests where, contributions where you could have learnt more and added more value. And if you have completed earlier, then great, but go help some other people who haven't completed yet. Collaboration.
It's not a race.
Exactly, and it's definitely not a sprint, it's a marathon. And it's against yourself, not against anybody else. Like, forget about everybody else. I'm just going to share some things in the chat. I see people asking for Nick's Twitter. I'm going to share all their Twitters in the chat and some extra GitHubs as well. Tom does so many things in the ADI community, reviewing so many amazing projects. So I'm going to drop Tom's, Koalia's, and a few other people's in the chat afterwards as well. Got so many awesome people here, and people on stage. I think you're all mods in the YouTube. Feel free to drop any links that you want as well. Okay, that's Nick's, and let me see what other questions do we have. There were some other good questions as well. Tom's GitHub notifications are exploding today. I think the first day and second day is always the worst, and it really kind of quietens down afterwards, and things kind of get a bit quieter and so forth. Here's a question. Who would like to take this question? I think that's a useful one. Why I get these links. The question is, what happens if I contributed and made a PR and got no response?
They're busy.
Yes, remember time zones. Remember people work. A lot of people do this for free.
Yeah.
How long's no response?
Months go by and you won't get a response. That happens.
I think, good to check closed pull requests and issues and see how the cadence of that is and the frequency of that is. But, don't do chase if it's a week later, or a month later, but don't. I got chased today by some people, and they said, Eddie, can you review my PR? They tagged me in the PR. They sent me a DM on Twitter, sent me a DM on Discord, sent me a DM on LinkedIn, and they were changing like an emoji from a smiley face to something else. And I was just thinking, okay, thanks for the 10 notifications on that pull request. If something was broken, it's different, but it's important. And that was definitely not included in Hacktoberfest. Yes, just be wary of people who a lot of the time do this for free, or if they're getting paid for it, but don't duplicate the notifications. How many notifications do all of you have actually? So people on stage, let me know, and people in the audience, let us know as well. How many notifications do you get per day? Maybe today, how many have you got so far?
I have 46 today.
Okay,
we're talking about which platform?
Sorry, GitHub. Focusing on GitHub.
Oh.
Yeah, because I've seen you on LinkedIn. You must have like a lot on LinkedIn as well.
I forgot. I don't check LinkedIn now. Okay, I have.
Nobody does.
I think I had 8 today.
Okay, we'll have to.
I think
135. Okay.
But I usually don't get that many. I think it's. I never get mad more than 15. I think. Can't remember.
Okay. But definitely you've had more today, I think. All of us had more today. To answer this question, no, these sorts of PRs, kind of like practice ones, probably not included in Hacktoberfest. You need to add value. Remember, if you're thinking about doing something, don't think how many lines it is. I had someone create a PR that had changed every line in the code base, so there were like 5,000 contributions, but they just reformatted every single file to a different style. That's not value. Yes, there's a lot of lines that have changed, so remember value. And it doesn't matter how big the project is or how small it is. If you're adding value, so if your friend is working on a project and you see a bug and you can fix it and adds value, then I think that adds value. And what do you all think?
Yeah, I mean, this is true. I see like this is a nice project idea for you all. I was planning on making this, but I don't have the time, so you can try it. In India, I have seen like after the final year of college is over, many people they have to make a final year project, right? The theses and stuff. So people make their project, it gets graded. Then that's it. The project is not looked after it. After you graduate. So what if you made a platform where people can choose to open source their projects, like college projects, and then others can sort of like contribute and stuff. So try try to make a platform for it, just a simple website. It will be fun for you all. So yeah, if you want to do it in like anyone can do it. So I'm just giving out ideas. So yeah, I mean, this is to answer your question. Yes, you can definitely open source your own projects and get your friends to contribute to it. Yeah.
And you'll learn so much by being a maintainer, I think, as well. I think you'll like appreciate the time on the other side and all the rest.
I think a huge benefit when open sourcing your code is just in regarding of your project, you may get bugs fixed before you already know them, just because
Yes.
others are using your software. I think that's always an example I tell when someone asks why should I open source my source code, because your project can get along so much faster than doing everything on your own. Just if you have friends who work together with you, or even users of your project.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One thing I want to add is like, even from your own learning point of view, you will get so much feedback from the amazing people in the community on your own projects. So learning in public, like if you don't want to share what you're attending, what event you're going at, what blog you're writing, whatever, okay, fine. You don't have to if you don't want to, but most definitely share about any projects you're making in public, because that is going to help you do better at that project, because people can get their advice. And it's like I forgot, I was mentioning an important point. Like, you will have so many ideas for projects, right? Eddie, how many projects have you made? And we might have made so many projects, and now those projects are gone. Like, we made it, and then that's it. Those were active for some time, and now they're not looked after. It happens, and that's good. It's okay. You make something, you have fun, you learn something new, you move on. So things like that, sort of like happen. And I think the thing is, many people, why people don't do it, because they feel like, oh, I have this is $1 billion idea. What if I share it in public? So someone else will copy it and they'll make it. So it's like, it does not matter. There are like billions of people on this planet, and there's a high chance that the idea you have had, someone else had it as well. It does not matter until you turn it into execution. So
Exactly. I think that's such a good point. And most people don't execute. I see so many people saying, I've got like the 20 amazing ideas. They're like the next Google, the next Uber, but they don't execute on it. So they could be the next Google, the next Uber, but if they don't do anything with it, it's pointless. And the best thing to do really is to start open source and get people contributing. And open source projects can make money. Cypress is making money. It's free. Also, when I was at CityJS last week in London, I learned there's an open source project, 100% open source. It's an ORM for like Postgres, MySQL, Mongo and so forth. They just got like 25 million in funding, and they're 100% open source project. And I'm going to get them on my channel in the next few weeks, a month or so, and we're going to chat to them about how they made an open source project and got funding for it. So it is possible, but if you don't put it out there, you're not going to get feedback. You're not going to, improve it. You're not going to get eyes on it and all the rest. Really good question here. I like this question. This is really, I would love to hear everyone's thoughts on this. So my mic's going to die, so I want to go get my backup mic, but I don't want to go until I hear the answer to this question. So this is brilliant. So instead of joining a community, starting a community by our own or a group, is it a better option? I have my thoughts on that, but I'm going to let others go first.
Both.
And then I'll jump in.
Yep.
Both.
Why not both? That's my answer too.
Can I put a caveat on it though? If you all want to start your own communities, great. But have a niche or a sub niche about why you're starting it. Most communities do have an overlap, and there's nothing wrong with that because people can join multiple communities. But my advice would be have a sub niche. So for example, there are so many amazing open source communities out there. But what EddieHub does is focuses on inclusion and open source. So we're super inclusive. We have EddieBot that picks up on, hey guys, and people would have noticed that if you wrote a really good message in the chat, but it had hey guys in it, I didn't bring it up on screen because that's not something I want to promote. So that's what we do in EddieHub, and other communities have their other niche. So don't just try and clone a community or just be, hey, we're a community of developers. Try and make it a sub niche, and don't do what a couple of communities have done, is literally clone every single repo in EddieHub, kept everything the same, and then spam everybody and say join our community. Like that's not going to work. It's not sustainable. Yes, you might get 50 members in one day, but then everyone's going to realize that you're not really putting in any effort. It takes effort and work, right? It's not easy to run a community.
I want to add on to it, like if you're starting your own community and not collaborating with other communities, you will not grow. You will find it very hard to grow.
Yeah, it's about it all comes down, I guess, to collaboration and communication. At the end of the day, like code is just a bit on the side, right? It's not the main part.
Yeah,
But you're
even
right.
if like, yeah, if the coding part is like not the, so software engineers don't really like, okay, they do get paid for like the coding stuff, but if you look at these big companies, like coding is actually like the straightforward answer. Most of the time is spent in communication amongst engineers, like, okay, what do we do, how do we do, what type of problem are we solving. The coding part is actually the straightforward part. So it's like collaboration. Without collaboration, you can't work at like the big tech companies or whatever that you want to do, or be a good engineer, for example. Collaboration is and communication is key. So people often think like, okay, you only need to be a good coder. No, coding part is very straightforward. Like you first figure out the solution, that's it, you can code it, straightforward stuff. But the communication part, like to reaching that solution, that's what most of the people spend their time on.
Exactly. I love that. Absolutely love that. Awesome. So what questions have I missed in chat? I love it how people are chatting in the chat between each other, and the people on the panel are too as well. Okay, I bet I've missed loads of stuff. What's Nick's niche? Well, I think I was going to use Luke's comment on against for Nick, and I think Nick's niche is that it's Nick. But okay, bots. I think I don't know. I think it's just what I love about the communities of the people here is that their community is focusing not on who can shout the loudest, who can do the most screen squares. It is about collaboration. Yes, we're all collaborating. I think that's the underlying thing. And I think that's awesome. Okay, I need to run and get a mic. Okay, I will pick a question. I want to let you all answer.
There's a question I can see one. It says that, how do open source projects make money?
Oh, okay. I can't see that to bring that up on the screen. Okay, but it's fine. You can answer it, and I'll come back and answer in a second. I'm just going to get another mic. So who's going to jump in? Who's going to take that? Or is that waiting for me?
I can start.
Okay, you go ahead.
Go
I'll be
for
back
it.
in a sec.
I mean, there are like many companies, they follow the SaaS model, right? So even though the project is open source, they add some like additional benefits. Like WordPress is also open source, but they offer some like your storage or whatever. And I see like Red Hat open source. They have like Red Hat has most of the projects like as open source, but they still earn like billions of dollars. So they offer, if you look at what they do, is they offer like the consultancy stuff, so they can offer something like that. Their infrastructure cost for that. But so if a project is open source, does not mean that the resources will be free. So yeah.
I rely on donations for my open source projects
Nice.
outside of my my full-time job, that is. But yeah, that's the stuff that I build, has potential to be monetized and paywalled and all of that, but that's not why I build things.
And another concept I recently came across is called open core. It's like you open source parts from the base of your product, and keep some business features, for example, close to us, and open source them time after time. So no one can actually steal your project and run their SaaS solution on their own. Yeah, that's something I came across recently.
I missed. Is my mic working? No?
Yes.
It is. Okay, cool. Didn't see the green bars moving. I missed a part of that, but I also heard GitHub sponsors. I haven't been pushing my GitHub sponsors either, because my numbers went up. I had like 20 GitHub sponsors, but I realized that was money coming from the community, and that's something I don't want to do. I want to try and give money back to the community rather than take it from them. So I've changed my model slightly as well. And I know, Kunal, you get a lot of sponsorship for your channel. I'm been getting sponsorship from mine, and I think that's a good way to try and keep everything free. I love the idea of free code camp, love the idea of open source, love the idea of community classroom. Just have everything free. And I think the tech community, the open source community, we're such pioneers in the industry, in the world, right? Did you hear about accountancy, law? Are they giving away free stuff? I mean, even my dad's like, why are you giving it all away for free? That's crazy. In my day, you used to pretend you didn't know anything until someone paid you for it, and then you knew it all. I'm like, what? That doesn't sound very open source. And he can't understand what it is. And yeah, so I just think that's awesome, and there are ways for it to be done to make money from companies, and I think companies are realizing that they can get involved in GitHub, because organizations now can get GitHub sponsors as well. So hopefully companies are, contributing. Unfortunately, I think some of the challenges with the big companies are that they can't make small donations. So for example, I had a friend who had a company reach out, and they said your biggest tier on GitHub sponsors is $100. We can't write a check for less than 5,000. So I think no one's going to put something up there for 5,000 because they think no one's going to get it, or I'm being arrogant and so forth. But I think there's a bit of challenge around there where companies don't want the admin of writing kind of $100 here, which $100 for us is a lot. But for these like IBM and these big companies and Google and all the rest, they can't. So D. Thompson nominated Eddie Hub, and we won a prize, and they gave us $250 to Eddie Hub, which I gave half of it away at EddieCon. I give another half away at the next EddieCon as well. But I think it's the smallest they can do sort of thing. So it's it's quite interesting. But if you haven't signed up to GitHub sponsors yet, please do, because there's so many people I want to give like a couple of dollars here and there every month to. On the wait list, okay. We can. I'll speak to some people, Kunal. We see if we can get that pushed through, that would be great. That would be really good, because I pay about $500 a year now to GitHub to sponsor people, and I got $25 here, $10 there. I'm actually gonna, at the end of the year, the term runs out. I'm gonna cancel all that. I'm going to keep the same money going to GitHub and to sponsors, but I want to spread it out rather than giving it to like 5 or 6 people. I can't remember how it is. I'm going to try and give it out to 20 or 30 people. Some of the moderators in our community, some of the maintainers, and all the rest. That's why it's so important for everyone to get involved, because if you're here in the chat now, some of my clients are here in the chat and they're watching, and they've actually approached some people, and they didn't realize that they were students, and I think that's just amazing. And I wish I was that active at such a young age on being collaborative, and so that's why I always say it's important to have the same profile picture, the same name across all platforms. So when you reach out to them on LinkedIn, or you apply for a job, when you send them your GitHub link, they're like, oh, that person asked lots of great questions in the YouTube channel, so let's find out more, and so forth. So does anyone know about Open Collective?
I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah,
haven't
me
looked
too.
into it.
Nor have I. So Krishna, hopefully that answers your question, how open source makes money. There's lots of ways. Basically, if you're thinking about doing open source for a t-shirt or to make money, then it's better to just get involved in the conversation, learn, collaborate, network, and all the swag and money will come later. I might get boxes every day of swag, literally, from all these companies. And it's at the beginning it was like, oh, cool, but now I've got to open it, take pictures, find somewhere in the house to put it. If posting wasn't so expensive, I would be sending it to the community, because I've got cupboards and cupboards full. Some of them like Blue Yeti microphones and 4K cameras and stuff that I've already got stuff like they're duplicates. I think it's like the 3rd Blue Yeti mic I've got, or the 4th Stream Deck I've got. But posting these things is just really expensive.
I need a Stream Deck.
Do you? Okay, let me see what I can do.
I don't have one.
Okay, I'll see what I can do, Kunal. Definitely, don't worry.
If you have an extra.
I have do. DM me afterwards, remind me.
Okay.
Yes. 400 likes apparently. 410. Wow. You're all amazing. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. How are we doing on time? I need 10 minutes before we do the giveaway to kind of get everyone's names and put it in the spinning wheel and all the rest. So hopefully everyone has signed up and done the tasks that you need to do, and then this will be a bit of a practice run for me next week. Okay, cool. What else have I missed in the chat? So what burning questions do people have in the chat? So have you all, I guess let me ask some questions to people in the chat. Do you all know what Hacktoberfest is? If not, we can briefly recap it. Have you all signed up to Hacktoberfest? Have you signed up to Eddie Hub's Hacktoberfest swag giveaway as well? And have you started Hacktoberfest? If not, what are your challenges? How can we help? Is it forking and creating a pull request, or do you know that? There are some practice repos out there. Is it finding good, valuable contributions? One contribution that I love, and I wonder what everyone else thinks, is GitHub Actions is amazing, and it's basically driven by YAML. And so many projects might have a linter or might have, automated tests, but they're not running that for every pull request or every commit and so forth. So I highly recommend doing that. I think that adds a lot of value. What are other thoughts and suggestions if people are trying to like pick out some crazy ideas?
Use the project first, because you'll find it kind of, if you want to contribute and you don't know what the project does, then that's, yeah. So use it.
Definitely.
Read the
Nice.
contributing guidelines.
Yes.
Make sure you understand the workflow for that specific project.
Yes, each project's slightly different, so definitely worth checking out the contributing guideline. Emma says, just making my first PR now. Awesome. Emma, thank you so much. You've been answering lots of questions in Discord as well. Really appreciate it. You're answering about Hacktoberfest and React stuff. It's been amazing. Really appreciate it. Okay, cool. I did see a question for maintainers, advice for maintainers. And then I also, Prathamesh, great question, and thanks for your support on all socials as well. I really appreciate it. Another Prathamesh as well, thank you as well for all your support on socials too. So advice for maintainers. Nick's great at this one. I think we're all great at this one. I was going to say, I'm going to drop a few ideas and I'll let the others talk about it. Issues, labels, project boards, GitHub Actions. Who wants to? Those are my initial thoughts. What do you all think?
What's left? You took them all.
Contributing file. I dig more into more detail, I suppose. What about labels and stuff?
Read me.
Like, what about it?
Yeah.
Read me. Yeah.
So I follow, on my projects, I follow the Creative Commons open source labeling standard, which provides, which expects issues to be labeled with an aspect. So what type or what's the scope of this change? Is it a developer experience fix? Is it related to the interface? Is it related to the code? Is it the documentation? And then, the goal, are we fixing something? Are we improving something? Are we adding something? And the heavy use of labels makes it more streamlined to search through my open issues and prioritize and triage what needs to be resolved first.
Yeah, people underestimate the value of all the other stuff in addition to the code.
That's what I
So
mentioned,
Carl-
like the non-code contributions part.
And as maintainers as well, right? I think as maintainers, we need to make sure we do the admin and the labels and all the rest.
Yeah, I'd maybe add that you should always try to be supportive and helpful, because this might bring your contributors to contribute again when they realize you support them, when they face problems, when you help them keep going and moving on, instead of just closing the PR. It's not relevant for now, or I think you get what I mean.
Yeah, exactly right. If you're a maintainer and someone submits a pull request or an issue that you don't want, that's fine. You can close it, but be collaborative. Say, look, thank you so much. Maybe look at issue 1, 2, 3 because this feature that you've created is not something I'm keen for now. But if I can help with anything else, that's important, and that's why I say to people, look at the closed pull requests, not the merged ones, the closed ones, and see why they were closed. Were they closed in a friendly way? How to become a maintainer? Just create an open source project, have an idea and start contributing to your own project. Use issues and use labels so people can discover your projects as demoed earlier on. People find your projects. I also have a tweet out on Twitter where I'm asking people to share their projects that want contributions. So people asked, I think, how to get contributions. Then you can reply to that. And we hopefully got this GitHub discussion actually as well. Maybe we should start another one and find out who want contributions to their projects as well. Because some people don't and some people are looking for contributions as well. So yeah, that's a really, really good question.
And one advice I'd maybe also give is when creating or open sourcing your project, you should always add a license file. I think that's also quite important.
Yes, and I think actually I want to share my screen, and there's a reason for that. If I share my screen, if you go to the Insights tab on any repo, and then go to community down the left, you will see these checkboxes. And if you're a maintainer or a contributor, do check these, right? If you're a maintainer, make sure you've got most of these ticked and the priority is at the top and it works its way down to the bottom. Make sure you have a license. Make sure you have a code of conduct. I don't contribute.
That last one is new. What is that?
Repository admins accept content reports. Yeah, I haven't looked into that one yet. That is quite new.
That's very new. Okay, I'm going to have to go look at this now.
Nick's going to find out and let us know what it is. And if you're contributing to repos, check that they have got a code of conduct. I always recommend people not to bother contributing to projects that don't have this, because then they won't, be super inclusive. Yes, Brioche might be coming on stream soon. Sarah wants to bring Brioche up on the stream, so maybe in a bit.
That's cool.
What does it mean, Nick? What does it mean? I'm always learning something new, so this is great.
It allows contributors who have previously contributed to the repository to report things. You can report GitHub comments and issues and all of that. You can report that to the GitHub support team if it's not in line with the community guidelines and the terms of service. But this allows contributors to report it to the repository maintainers as well.
We see. That's pretty good.
That's what you need, more notifications.
Yeah, well, if it's important, right? I want to focus on quality rather than quantity. So I'd rather people felt safe and could contribute. We haven't had any issues, so it's always been great. But just in case, absolutely, that's interesting. Cool. Okay, so I'm just conscious of time, and I don't want. I know you're all busy people doing so much. So bring Brioche on the stream. Don't encourage us. You'll chew through my cables. Okay, so
you got extras.
Quite extra. Some of the stuff's wireless, so that's pretty good. How's my mic doing from the other side? Okay, it's not doing so good, so I might need to let's worry about that. Okay. What else have we covered? So we've covered how to get into open source, we've covered how to make money in open source, how to be a maintainer. Any other tips you would like to do? And I want to start getting this wheel ready and see what giveaway we can do to someone. Well, Kunal's going to get a Stream Deck, but we're going to see what if we can give a GitHub t-shirt away. And I've got a code from GitHub, so therefore I'm not going to post it to you. I'm going to give you a code. You can go to GitHub shop and you can choose a t-shirt, and it includes free shipping, and you can get it shipped out to wherever you are in the world. So hopefully you've all signed up, and I'm going to kind of get all your names and put it in the spinning wheel, and we will see. But while we're doing that, let's pick another question for all you awesome people to answer. Okay, shall I pick a question? Here's a question. What do you think? So, isn't there always a possibility that a company copies the code, becomes a big successful company, and then the big company survives? Actually, I meant to click on the one above that. the chat moved. Let me bring, this is blocking Kunal's face. Let me just bring this back up. Yes, so I'll let other people answer this while I get everyone's names. Hopefully you've all signed up, and I'm going to do this giveaway. We haven't had that many people sign up, but that's fine. No one wants a GitHub t-shirt. It's okay. So who wants to take this question? I don't think it's possible. Well, that's wrong. It is possible, but I don't think it really happens. Companies are too slow.
Yeah, they're too slow, and so the question is essentially, my understanding of the question is, how does a company like a big company like Google survive if I copy their code to go make my own Google? And the fact of the matter is they have the infrastructure and systems in place to serve their product to millions of users worldwide. And if I were to do the same thing, I would need a significant amount of investment to get that started, and to hire those engineers and purchase those servers and set up that infrastructure. And if I have the kind of money to do that, I probably don't need to steal Google's code to make money.
Yeah, I know, like companies have lawyers for this. So you if you do end up using some proprietary code that was not allowed, that a license does not allow, you may face some issues. So be careful.
Yeah, but I think I understand the question to be, if the company copies our code. So if we make something like I've made link free, for example, what happens if company A goes, hey, we want to use that, and they want to, make money and profit off it? It does happen. It happened with Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch is completely open source, and then AWS, I don't know the full details, so someone correct me if I'm wrong, but they took it and they did it as a service, and Elastic wasn't getting anything out of it. But yeah, I wouldn't worry too much. I think it's a good problem to have. If someone tries to steal it, they won't do it as good as you because you're not the main kind of the idea, and they might, you know, fork it, and you might better collaborate on different things. Like you see MySQL and Pacona collaborating on things, and Pacona's a fork of MySQL, and also things like DataStax, right? If people in my community know that I work at DataStax, and they've built a layer that sits on top of Cassandra. They didn't do Cassandra; it's an Apache project. So yeah, I think there's just so many benefits and hardly any downsides is what I want to say. And I better kind of carry on editing this file so I can do some giveaways. Because who wants giveaways? Write t-shirt in the chat if you want a giveaway. Let me bring up the next question as well. Oh, the chat's moved along. All right, a bit. Someone starts an open source project and unique and somehow managed to get great response from the community and the project's ready to go, but money making is limited. We kind of talked about money making. I'm not going to focus too much on that in this stream, but we can go into that in another stream. Yeah, try and use a branch as much as possible. Or a question about private repos. Who wants to take this one? Will I do some more?
Okay, private repos, you know, you're going to, you know, there's inevitable almost that you'll end up working on proprietary closed source code. But you know, those contributions, there's an option to make those contributions show up on your GitHub graph or whatever. And those contributions are great for building your skills and, you know, leveling up your experience. And it's valid code. It's a valid project. They're valid contributions, but it really doesn't help your profile or your public appearance or anything because it's not public. I can see that you made 100 commits to something, but I can't see the private repo. I can't see the code you wrote. I can't see any of the interactions that you have. So it's not really something that improves your profile as you're asking. It's got plenty of benefits, but you lose out on the open source benefits, and bumping your profile is not one. And I will say that the value of a developer is not measured in green squares. It's great to get green squares. It's fun. I love the gamification. I enjoy seeing how many I have, all of that. But it's completely disconnected from your value as a developer. You focus on quality over quantity. Build things that are fun, things that you can show off. Collaborate with other people. Don't worry about getting 1,000 green squares a day. Get one because consistency is good, but don't get 1,000.
Exactly. I think that's really, really important. The gamification side is nice, but it's not the important part. Exactly. Okay, let me try and get this wheel going. Okay, so I can't remember what I search for on Google. Wheel of Fortune, like what's it? I can't remember what I searched for. Wheel of Names, found it. All is good. I need to add your names to it. Okay, awesome. Just wanted to thank all the panelists for sharing their valuable advice and newbies. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Eleanor as well, saying thank you to Nick for that. Nick's out of coffee.
That was cup number 2. I can't have another one.
So I want to start answering this. I need to get back to just manipulating the names and so forth. But I want to say, yes, if you're new to tech or new to open source, you can add so much value. Your fresh pair of eyes can add value. But I want to let other people on the panel jump in as well. Because Nick, you started off, I mean, it'd be really great actually if the three of you wouldn't mind sharing a bit about your background and your story and how you got to where you are now. Because I think the three of you have such interesting stories. Okay. So if you wouldn't mind,
I'll do story time.
Let's do it. Okay, cool.
So I worked in grocery retail for 11 years and had been a manager, a service manager. Was working 80-hour weeks. It was an enjoyable job, but it was also very taxing. and then the pandemic came around and they wanted to transfer my location, and I said no, and they said you transfer or you resign, and I said okay, I see, I'm out of here. Cashed out my pension, took my my vacation pay, and made it 2 weeks before I was bored out of my mind without a job. So I said, okay, well, I've always liked computers. Let's go learn how to code. And Googled how to learn to code and came across Free Code Camp and said, well, hey, it's free. I got nothing to lose, but an hour if I turns out I hate it. Got hooked, absolutely hooked. Went through what was at the time the full curriculum in about 5 months, and then said, okay, well, now I got to start building things. Started building my Discord bot, which is still active to this day. It's my longest running project, very much a passion project. Started making contributions to open source, which is where I ended up. My first contribution was to Free Code Camp. Started making more contributions. Participated in my first Hacktoberfest last year. Met a lot of great people. I think that's how Eddie and I met.
Yes, I think so.
It's through Hacktoberfest, and look where we are now. So, never underestimate the benefits of contributing to open source and the networking potential there. And then was offered a staff position at Free Code Camp, and very gratefully accepted, and have been doing pretty much all of that since.
I think that's awesome. It's such a great story, right? I think people see Nick, they see the bot, they see all the great work you're doing. You work for Free Code Camp. Like, Nick must have 15 plus years experience, and I think it's great to highlight that that's not the case. And open source is really really helped accelerate that. So that's awesome. So we've just lost Kunal for a moment. So Carl, I've got a private chat. Kunal, no worries. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. We're finishing up in a moment anyway. So Carl, let's hear your story.
Well, I finished school in 2017 and started to study business informatics after this. And at first, software development wasn't really a thing for me. I nearly even failed my exams in software development. It was quite close. But then I dug deeper into this topic and realized if I could build anything I want, if I get the basics, if I understand the basics and the core concepts of it, and this motivated me to go further and further. My open source career took a bit longer because I didn't feel confident enough. I thought I'm not good enough to contribute to open source. And I think it was in one of your live streams, Eddie, when you initially worked with Nest.js, which I knew from some client projects, where I already used Nest.js, and this was really the moment when the spark came over to me, and I felt confident enough because I had some knowledge on this. And my first contribution, my first open source contribution then was the Swagger documentation for the EddieHub API.
You've done so many amazing contributions to it. It's great, and we will be doing a live stream. Well, I will be doing a live stream in a week or two, and I'm hoping Carl will help me because I cannot remember the whole Nest project on the API and Discord bot, and Carl is the expert in it. So yes, looking Nick for GitHub star. Yes, definitely. I've nominated Nick, and so have many others. So fingers crossed. It is a slow process, and they do a massive vet. So. Yeah, so and I bet you, I will put money, who wants to take this bet, that I bet that there's going to be some more exciting news in the near future for Carl as well, and it's going to be powered by open source, but yes, we will leave that. How to become a GitHub star. I actually have a video on Free Code Camp from 4 or 5 GitHub stars. We talk about it. And people are asking how to participate in the giveaway. You have unfortunately missed adding your name, but you can participate for next week, so I can give you a link for next week. Let me share my screen again. So you can participate for next week, but for this week you have missed it. I will be doing it weekly is the idea. So let's have a look. Okay, so what I have done, I have taken everyone's name and put them up here. Can I make this full screen? I think I can hide. So yes, there's a lot of names on there. I'll tell you how many. There are actually 355 names on there. And yes, so we're going to have one winner who's going to get a GitHub t-shirt of their choice. I'm not picking. I've got loads in the cupboard, so I can actually send you one from here. But no, I'm going to give you a coupon where you can just deal with it on GitHub. So, okay, let's have a look. I'm a bit nervous. I've removed Sarah's name, but I couldn't find my name because we were testing it out. So I think if I win, I will spin it again because that doesn't count. Okay, who's ready?
Let's do it.
Can I make this any bigger? Okay. 3. Do you want to do a test? No, let's just do it. I was thinking maybe for next week, we maybe do like 5 spins and then we get those 5 people and we do like an extra spin between those 5 people. But for now, we'll just do one. Okay, let's see. I'm really nervous. The stress is quite a lot, but let's spin it. Everyone take a screenshot, share it on socials as well. And obviously give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already. I think we crashed it. The Ghost Mac Bobby, are you here in the chat? If you're not, I think we're going to keep spinning because I do want it to have people who are here, not people who have put their name in and dropped off. So, oh no, Eleanor, you didn't get a chance to sign up. Next week, sign up for next week. We'll give them a few minutes. If they're not here, we're going to move on to the next one. We might be here for a while because probably a lot of people have left. Okay, let's remove them and give it another spin, I think. I don't see anything in the chat. Okay. Remove. Spin again. We're going again. We might be here for a while. Even Nick has frozen. Or he's just not moving, like really still. Okay.
I might be really still. I'm intently focused.
And Eleanor says, I can be Mac Bobby. Okay, let's spin again. Love this. My mic is about to die, so we need to spin again. Right, okay. So everyone sign up for next week. Let's have a look. Who is the next person? Shushant? Shushant? Are they here? It's going to be like a while if these people are not here. This is what we had at EdiCon. We had the problem was not everyone had stayed, so we kept on doing this. Okay, we'll give them a moment. Software Dev Guru. Okay, if that's you, then send me a DM on Discord with the same username, and then we'll... Everyone's saying I'm that person. Come on, people, we're collaboration. We're not cheaters here, we're collaboration. I am here. Okay, I don't know who that is, but it's stressing me out as well because, you know, the people who are coming up aren't here. Tom, my M1 can handle it. Okay, it is short on RAM. We wish it had 32 gigs, maybe next year.
You know, if you clear those 7,000 notifications, you'll get all that RAM back.
That's
true. How it works, right?
That's true. You can sign up now for the next live stream, but you have to be on there on the live stream to get the giveaway. Okay. I created a form, Koalia. I have a form. People filled it in. Not everybody, but most people filled it in, but they're not here. Okay, so I haven't received any DMs on Discord to say they're claiming it. So those are now, unfortunately, if they do come back to the live stream and watch it afterwards and they say, hey, I'm here, then unfortunately no DMs have come in. So we will move on to the next one. Where to sign up? I think I can pin things. I should have just pinned it. That's a bit stupid of me. You can sign up here. I will pin it on the YouTube chat and we will spin again. I need a winner. I've got swag to give away, GitHub t-shirts to give away. No one wants it. So you do have to sign up. You do have to follow the instructions. I will be checking that you've shared it on Twitter and you've tagged me and all that good stuff as well. So let me see if I can pin my comment. Oh, it would help if I hit enter and sent it. I think I can pin it. Let's have a look. Pin message, there we go. So I've pinned that, so it should be there. Yeah, we've got Hacktoberfest Discord channel in our Discord server. Okay, I guess we'll keep spinning. Okay, let's go again. No DMs on Discord, so no one claims it. Let's go. We might just have to give up sometime soon. And, you know, I'm just more swag for me. But I don't want it. I've got so much. I've literally got boxes that I want to give away. Anyone live near me, I can just kind of, you know, give it to them. Preeti, did I pronounce that right? Is it rabbit o'clock yet? Yeah, Sarah should be back in like 20 minutes. So it's not rabbit o'clock just yet. So sorry. Is this person here? I guess they're not. Okay, I need to come up with another way. Maybe there is no giveaway this week and we do 2 next week. If we keep spinning, I can't keep spinning to 355 people. Tom, let's do it. Let's do it. I might be in Germany next summer for a month or something. So we'll be some geek out then. But I don't think I can bring swag with me.
We definitely could then.
Yes, I could drive to Germany and I can definitely bring a car full of swag.
Come drive to the US too, okay?
No, that's too far. Like driving to the US is only half the journey. Then you got to go through all the way through the US. That's probably even longer. I still, when I look on the map and look at Australia and like the US, I still can't comprehend how massive they are. Okay.
I vote we do one more, and if the last person is not here, then we may have to suspend this giveaway. We can take the swag and we can run a giveaway in our Discord server.
True.
And so if you aren't in our Discord server, I will get you the link in the chat here so that you can
Nick.
join our Discord server.
Awesome. Sounds good. Okay, sounds good. Yes, we'll meet in real life. We'll do a live stream together. That'd be epic. All geek out. We'll have to fly Nick over. Or if when you all come meet me in Bali, even better. Then I don't have to travel anywhere. I'll be there already. And you all can travel because I don't like traveling. That's really weird for a digital nomad, right?
You don't like traveling. You've been to like 8 countries in the last month.
No, I love the destination. I just hate the travel time to get there, if that makes sense. So when we're going to Bali, it's like 2 days traveling, 8 days quarantining. It's like freaking scary. Okay, spinning again. No DMs on Discord. Let's go. Moment of truth. I look really like a bit yellow, I think. I need to sort out the lighting in here because the sun was shining before and now it's not shining. Deepak, are you here? If you're here, say hi in the chat and DM me on Discord. Yeah, I think make sure everyone's giving the video a thumbs up while we're waiting, but I don't think they are here either. Okay, I'll speak to Nick and Carl and Kunal, and we'll have a think of how we can do some giveaways in the Discord, not on a live stream this way, and then that way everyone is there. We can maybe do like an audio only or something, call, or we can do something. We'll think of something, yes, we'll come up with some way to give this away. I haven't been to India yet, no, but it's on my list of places to go in the next couple of years as well. It's just COVID's being really challenging with everywhere, so being restrictive where we can choose. Okay, right, no winner. Okay, I changed my name for the giveaway. We'll do something in Discord, so make sure you join. I've just seen a few more people join. Oh, someone DM'd me. I hope they're the winner. No, it's Mikey. You changed your icon. Didn't recognize you. Okay. Amazing live stream. Just a big shout out to everyone who joined. We did have Kunal on as well. Big shout out to Carl and Nick as well. Their links are in the description below. Carl and Nick, please feel free to drop some links in the chat as well now before we go. It was amazing collaboration. I really enjoyed to geek out with you all on stage and in the audience, and we'll geek out more between live streams and videos in the Discord. It's been super epic. I think it's been the best live stream ever. Almost 500 thumbs up, 22 more to go. So I'm hoping we can get there. If you haven't given it a thumbs up, do. But definitely been the biggest and craziest live stream I've ever done. So thank you all so much. We will do more, so let us know what else you would like to see. We do have lots of pull requests. If I refresh this, I bet you that 37 goes up. It doesn't, but I think the issues went up. So we've got lots of great pull requests to go through. I'm going to try and find time over the weekend to go through those. And so thank you all for those contributions. That's amazing. Really, really appreciate it and loving all this. Great support from everyone. I love it how you all support us, but also you support each other as well. So that's amazing. Awesome. 5th time's the charm. No, I think it's a good place to call it a day. Thank you all so much. Remember, open source for the win. We've got some good news coming out. Nick, Carl, would you like to add anything else?
Thanks for geeking out with us and happy contributing. Go make some quality PRs.
Nothing more to add, I think.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, everyone. It's been amazing. Thank you all so much. Have a great weekend. Remember to get some rest as well. I'm always pushing for open source and collaboration, but don't forget, get some rest as well. I'm visiting my dad tomorrow, so I'll be getting some rest tomorrow as well. So thank you all so much. Really, really appreciate it. Awesome. Cool. Thank you all.